Hello, entrepreneurs. My name is Bimal Shah. I'm on a mission to make pioneers out of entrepreneurs by helping you achieve your 3 year goal in 1 year that's tied to your 25-year vision and 5 year moonshot. I do it through weekly sprints and 90-day leaps. This is the Pioneers Academy podcast, and I'm on a mission to make a million pioneers. And I thought this podcast channel will help you achieve your 3 year goal and jump to the next level. I'm going to be showing lots of training and lots of great episodes, so join on this podcast and get all the training and resources you need to achieve your 3 year goal in 1 year and make yourself a pioneer. I wrote 13 books, Becoming a Pioneer, and you can get all those 13 books on Amazon. We're going to give away to every listener who listens on this podcast a $100 Amazon gift card so you can get all the books and learn how to become a pioneer.
Welcome back to the Pioneers Academy podcast. Today's episode is a powerful shift in perspective. What if the sale isn't the finish line, but actually the starting point of growth? Joining me today is someone who has helped countless entrepreneurs scale with clarity and purpose, none other than Bimal Shah, the mind behind the Pioneers platform and a leader in breakthrough business strategies. Bimal, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. And a great episode to talk about where people think it is the finish line. It's actually the beginning. So excited to talk about great insights on the same.
Yes, Bimal, I'm so excited to get started with you on this topic also. So, Bimal, would like to know most businesses celebrate when they close a deal, but you teach that the real journey starts there. Why should entrepreneurs rethink what happens after the sale?
So if you think a lot of marketing, a lot of things that is being done, even when you pay big dollars, is like when the sale happens, the marketing stops and they go after new customers because they feel like, okay, we achieved the sale, now we have to chase new customers. Well, why not, do build a clear journey when, you can build a relationship that lasts long term, and you build a life cycle of the customer over a lifetime, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 1 year. So you start with that journey and you build out that journey, and the marketing continues. And that's the reason why I say the sales is actually the beginning, because think about, the lifetime value of a client is probably, 10 to 100 or even 1,000 times more than the initial transaction value. So the three key numbers for a customer, are the initial transaction value, the ITV, the annual customer value, ACV, and the lifetime customer value, the LCV. And most people don't pay attention to the other two values of the customer that actually drive the value of the business. So, that's the reason why I feel that sale is actually the beginning of a lifetime journey that could scale the business, and add several more zeros to your annual revenues.
Exactly, Bimal. Thank you for emphasizing that real value on what is really going to happen next also by starting closing that deal. So yeah, it makes us realize how many opportunities businesses might be leaving on the table just by stopping too soon. So Bimal, would like also to know how much potential growth is actually sitting within a company's current customer base that often gets overlooked.
So let's take a practical example. For easy conversation purposes, we'll use round numbers, and let's say the business is doing $1 million in revenues, and let's say the initial transaction value of a customer is $100. Now, let's say that customer over the life of the company, maybe let's say over 5 years would spend $6,000 or $5,000. Let's just give it 5,000. So if you think about $5,000 for that customer, that's one customer, right? Now, let's say, you multiply that by, let's say the company does, $1 million in revenue. So that's roughly about 100 customers, right? And the 100 customers, that's equal to 10,000. So 10, 100,000. And then, that customers would turn into $1 million. So if you take about, 100 customers per month, that's 1,200 customers. On an average, you're leaving about close to $4,900, 5,000. That's close to, if you multiply 1,200 by even 4,000, that's $4.8 million. The company is just left out the value of four times what they make each year on the table. So they're not just losing a portion of the revenues, they're losing a multiple of what they're making currently. So if you're losing probably three to four times what you're making currently, by not looking at continuing the journey for life with the customer with proper education on this is the beginning. The sale is just the beginning. It's not the end.
That's a huge number if we try to think about it. And most of the businesses don't realize it. So thank you so much for reminding everyone about that, Bimal. That's such a huge amount or
Yeah.
number.
Huge,
I
huge.
mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And if you're doing more business, the numbers just keep growing bigger.
exactly. And what should businesses focus on in the first couple of days after gaining a new client?
So, every time sale happens, we have a thing which we all have experience is called buyer's remorse. And the buyer's remorse is anytime you buy something, there's one of three things that you feel like. Okay, one is, you feel like, have you ever had April, where you feel like you got less than what you paid for? You bought something and say, this was not really worth what I paid. It should have been for less because you don't see the value in it, right? So there's that buyer's remorse. So if people feel like sacrifice, has that happened before?
Yes, Bimal, multiple times in
Multiple.
real experience.
So that is number one feeling that buyer's remorse get. The second feeling that people get is, it's okay. It was worth it, but not that great, but it was okay. Like, okay, it's worth the price. If somebody were to sell it cheaper, I would go there. And the third is people really feel this was awesome. This was the best, I got a huge deal. I mean, this feel like, I got it for less than, half the price or whatever. You feel like this could have been a lot more, because you felt surprised. So those are three levels of immediate impacts that happen in the first 48 hours, in the first 2 days after you buy something. So it is very, very important that you don't lose touch from your customer in the first 2 days after anything has been sold. Either a thank you note, and here's what happens next. Here's the next step. And then, if you like to continue the journey, here's the next step, and here's what you can expect. So it's very clear. Like as soon as people buy something, the next steps are very clear. Okay, this is how the product works. This is like, if sometimes you buy something and you have no idea how it works, and you're trying to find things on YouTube or video or instructions, and you feel like, you're trying to, this happened with me. I just bought something from Amazon. It didn't come with any instructions. I had to find something, where it is. But what if, as soon as I hit buy, and there's an instruction video that comes in the email with the shopping cart that says this is how you install it, this is how you do it. Those are things that are important. So the sale is the beginning, and that's why, the three levels: the sacrifice, the satisfaction, and the surprise, the three S's, what I call sacrifice, satisfaction, and surprise. You should always aim for the surprise factor where people get more than what they paid for. So now they're excited to continue the journey, and they feel like, okay, you deliver a lot more than what I pay for. Maybe you have something more in the journey that would be valuable, and I want to see what you got.
Exactly, Bimal. I agree with you because that first 48 hours um is really important. You have to really set the tone for that entire relationship to last long. Thank you, Bimal. Now, you've seen businesses grow significantly without adding new customers. How is that even possible?
So you think about, where you can grow your business. So think about, let's say the company is making, I just take, for example, $5 million. Okay. And now the company's expenses are, let's say, 70% or 80%, and they're doing a 20% profit. So that's $1 million in profit. What if we were to cut the expenses down by another 20%? Okay. And now they're at 40% gross profit, net profit. So they have just doubled their profits, right? With the same revenue. So it's like previously, if they didn't look at their expenses or things like that, they would have to make twice as much money to get that net profit. Now, with the same number of customers and same number of revenue, they have just doubled their net profit. At the same time, if you can triple your sales by doing, the journey marketing where you increase the lifetime value of a client. So let's say you were not focusing on the sale as the beginning, but you were focusing on the sale as the end. Then your value for customer was just $100. Now it has grown from $100 to $1,000 because you are doing all these other things in the journey over a period of year, 2 years, and your value has gone up. So from $100, let's say you're not all the customers, but even just let's say 20% of your customers, you increase the value tenfold. So 20 customers, you made an extra $900. That's, roughly about $18,000 a month. Multiply, that's roughly about, you added like 40 to 50% to your company just by increasing the value of your customers, just a fraction, 20% of your customers, not even the whole thing, just a fraction of it. And I lay this all out, in the marketing scorecard. So if you actually click on the show notes below, there's a scorecard that tells you, how much money you're leaving on the table, what revenue losses you're incurring by not focusing on the journey, and how you can focus on the journey. Everything is laid out if you follow the questions. And when I'm doing these podcasts, the tools that we leave behind are very comprehensive, very detailed. They're not like click, put your name, email, and just click download and you get, they walk you through. So you build a customized download that is specific to your business, that's specific to what you're looking for. And it's a completely customized structure and system for you. So that's how you build it. That's how you do it.
So powerful, Bimal. And for me, my take on that is that sometimes it's really about going deeper rather than going wider, right? So it's achievable to, as we listen to your example, um, we can say that it's not that impossible to achieve that kind of experience as well. So thank you so much for that, Bimal. Now, what does it actually look like when a business builds long-term relationships with clients the right way?
So, lifetime relationships, long-term relationships, they last beyond the immediate sale. So, based on the product or service you're selling, it could be anywhere from 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, depending on what you're offering. And that relationship is what needs to be thought about. People don't think about that. Okay, how would I continue to be engaging with the customer for the next 3 to 10 years or 20 years after they have done business with me? What would keep them engaged? So this is where you position the sale as the beginning. It's not the end, because many people think of the product as the end result or the service as the end result. Now that you accomplished or you bought what I was selling, we're done. No, you're not done. You just got started. And that's the mindset shift that people need to have. And once you have that, it's like an ocean. Whatever you're offering, even you can explore that. Okay, well, if I could do this, and imagination is more powerful than knowledge. So if you build up your imagination as to what you could do, it's limitless, it's infinite, and what you could present to your customers and the upsells and everything else that could happen along the journey.
That's exactly right, Bimal. A must-have mindset for everyone else. Do not limit um thinking beyond what we can do or what will happen, because it's not transactional anymore. It's relational when businesses um turns into something more meaningful. And I totally agree with that. Now, for someone listening right now, what's a simple referral strategy they can start implementing this week?
So simplest strategy I've outlined in the show notes below. It's the link called the Dream Come True Customer Experience, bit.ly/Dream Come Experience. That journey is the simplest referral system because that journey actually builds several referral points and several structures, several systems, and it automatically builds a system of orchestrating referrals. So not you don't have to think about when to ask the customer for referrals. It is built in the whole system and it just happens automatically. And then, besides that, gifting is one of the most important things you can do to your customer on the journey to generate referrals. So, if, for example, while you're on this podcast listening to, I'm giving away $100 Amazon gift card, so you can get all my books for free. The no strings attached, no catch there. Just get the gift, get the book, and you can build on the journey from there. So similarly, you could give away something of value rather than discounting your price. Show the confidence in what you have to offer. Show the believability that, you believe in your product, you believe in your service so much that you're willing to give a portion of it at no cost. And for the customer to experience, to say, here's the thing, experience it, take it. If you like it, you know, come back for more. And that's the confidence you need to project to your customers. And that's what builds the referral relationships. In the show notes, click the link, customer experience, the gift card, and take it to the next level.
That is so amazing, Bimal. And having those resources really makes it easier for people or for our listeners right now to take what they're learning from here and really apply it step by step. So thank you so much, Bimal, for your bonus $100 Amazon gift card. And I think they will really um have it very useful for them. A great incentive for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You listen to this podcast, listen to as many times as you can, listen to all the podcast episodes that I have. They're extremely valuable, all come with proper structures and systems. Get the $100 Amazon gift card. We're launching the final book in the series in the next few days, and the gift links will be updated in that. So get the $100 Amazon gift card and make yourself a pioneer. Hello, pioneers and entrepreneurs. My name is Bimal Shah. I'm on a mission to make pioneers out of entrepreneurs by helping you achieve your 3-year goal in 1 year that is tied to your 25-year vision and 5-year moonshot. I do it through 90-day leaps and weekly sprints and through my own proprietary 4-leap system. I've also written 13 books, the Becoming a Pioneer series. I've founded the Pioneers Academy, the Pioneers Platform, and several resources that help you on several different platforms: the Thrive platform, Transform platform, and Transcend platform. So these are resources and tools that I built for you to double your business in a year and scale exponentially and become the only one in your business.